part of that effort is to really look into where the spending is all going. Doge obviously has been tapped to do that. Elon Musk and other cabinet members have, again, in the media, been described as sort of butting heads. President Trump was asked about it. Here's what he had to say. Let's watch.
Well, I don't think the tensions are high. Look, Elon's a very special person, and these cabinet people are special people. You know, these are very successful people, or they wouldn't have gotten, you know, they've attained the highest heights of government. And I think they have a fantastic relationship to Elon. And that doesn't mean they don't have a little bit of an argument here and there about something, or maybe personnel arguments. I think really the cabinet, for the most part, I think they get along really well with Elon.
So, Mr. Secretary, has Elon Musk tried to step on your toes in the agency? Can you respond to that?
No, I mean, look, Elon, I've seen Elon at the cabinet meetings and others, and look, Elon's doing this out of his own, free will, even taking time away from his own businesses to do this. Look, we have VA employees who are our DOJ liaisons, and they have helped us. I'll go back to something that's not reported as much anymore because, frankly, when you looked at it, they couldn't attack it anymore. But we only looked at less than 2% of our 90,000 contracts here at the VA. And out of just 2%, and this was help from DOJ and others, that we found over $980 million that we can save and put back toward health care and benefits, and also over $1.8 billion in total savings on contracts that will no longer be going forward. In these contracts, contrary to the rumor and innuendo mill that seems to be flying everywhere in the world, these were things like cutting consulting contracts for PowerPoint and meeting notes, flower services. These are the kind of things that we're looking, clerical services and stuff. Look, I look at it this way. We've hired great people at the VA. If they're can't do their job without going to consultants, then maybe we need to consider what we're actually doing. So look, we're looking at this and we have a good relationship. We're going to disagree, but I will tell everybody out there, I'm the one that's the Secretary of the VA, and it's up to me to make those final cuts. The President has made that very clear that the agency heads and secretaries are the ones that are controlling this process, getting input from anybody we can to make this place work better.
There was a memo reviewed by Reuters in terms of when these cuts would be made. Can you confirm that? When will the VA start seeing, or these employees start seeing these cuts? Because it's reported as June. Is that right?
Yeah. I'm so glad I don't have to worry about, following Reuters, possible reports, because look, we're looking at this as a situation in which we'll take as much time as we need. And I've already expressed this to the White House and others to make sure we do this right, so that we're starting the process, which is an OPM memo that came out. We're looking at the dates now to make sure we're hitting our early targets, but some of them are going to be a little bit more difficult for us here at the VA, but we're going to make sure that we're on target doing things. But it's going to be a several month process to make sure that we do it right. And for anybody out there that is fear-mongering, or others saying that this is happening tomorrow or that we're losing it, then that's not being truthful. Remember, we, at this point, and this is something that's come up, there's been reporting out there, not factual reporting, but reporting that because of the layoffs that were made to probationary employees and others, which, by the way, are less than 0.5% of our workforce, the 2,400, that there's all of a sudden catastrophe at the VA. This is, again, untrue, and we're looking at it from, these were not in mission essential positions with appointments or working with veterans or patients. These are folks that are, like publicists, and they're looking at, from what I was saying, they're looking at interior designers and others that, again, were not directly affecting. And by the way, we also had into the play exemptions for any supervisor who felt any of their employees were unfairly characterized. If they had an exemption, we've granted many of those exemptions. So to say that we're having trouble because of what we have done already is simply not being truthful. And that's just the way it goes in Washington, D.C., but that's why I'm on here with you telling you the truth. Yeah, we appreciate you taking the time to clear up so much confusion about it. We love our veterans. We want what's best for them, and we appreciate the transparency as always. VA Secretary Doug Collins, thank you so much, sir. Thanks, Sean, Emily. Y'all take care. You too.
Information. Truth is freedom. Is Newsmax. It's real news for real people.